Hey everyone, welcome back to On the Fence Movie Reviews. I am Adrian, and this is Real Talk. So here at Real Talk, we like to talk about all the movie news and all the great things that are going on in the world of pop culture. So as you know, my co-host Rob, and we have a new person on the panel today.
Daniel.
I'd just like to take this moment, take a second to acknowledge Daniel's greatness. He's normally behind the camera.
He's the guy.
Adrian, I wasn't done.
Actually did one review.
He did.
He did Zombie
probably our
review.
greatest
That was
rev-
actually
our
probably the one
greatest
that we had the
review
least
ever.
reviews ever on.
Yeah,
No.
and then it probably got the most dislikes, but yeah.
Anyways, in my mind, it was the greatest review we've ever done. And I'd just like to welcome Daniel once again back in front of the camera.
Hey man, I'm pretty excited.
You sound a little nervous as well.
I am a little nervous.
It's all right.
because I don't know. I just am because.
Should I remove my hand from your knee? Would that make you feel a little better? Okay.
I think
Because
it's because he has a face for radio.
What?
What?
I don't really know.
Never mind.
So
Wah, wah,
I don't know. I just wanted to be part of the show. You know. I just
Yeah.
kinda wanna jump
And this
in
is-
and hijack
yeah.
the show. You know?
I
This
think
was
he's getting a
a-
little jealous,
so
and
I'm
that's
gonna-
why he wanted to jump in front of the camera.
No, this
You
was...
guys aren't be shocked, but you know, because I purposely sat in the center. That would be easier to crop you both out, and that way it just becomes my show.
I thought that too. I was like, this is perfect for him just to like cut us out.
Each
He's
week
gonna
we're
take
slowly
our,
gonna
he's
be
gonna
edged out.
he's gonna take all our ideas and just like mute us.
Yeah, on the camera, there's a setting where
And
it
then-
has
and
like
then
the
next
grid.
thing you know,
so I
He's
purposely
gonna lock us out of the studio, and
Yeah.
I like it. I like it.
so. Anyways, yeah. So we are gonna cover a couple of things going on in the world of movies, and we had a couple of topics that we wanted to talk about. So I don't know. What do you guys want to start with?
I would like to talk about the fact that I got a text message from Danny saying about you were angry at Mr. Oscar. And I want to know why you're mad at Mr. Oscar.
I'm not. I'm not mad at Mr. Oscar.
So
Let's
what's
save
the-
that
what's
for
the
last,
okay,
because if I
fine.
start ranting on that, then
It's gonna go on for a while.
well, that and we'll lose
We'll lose subscribers.
less subscribers.
All right,
because
fine.
people tend to click out of our reviews once you start talking. So,
Oh, jeez. I'm just going to shut up
Daniel,
the whole time.
what
man.
do you want to talk about
Yeah,
today?
the I don't know. Well, I know
You're the guest of honor today. What
He,
do you
but
wanna
he's not
talk
a
about?
guest on this show. He's a regular on this show.
Is he?
Yes.
I'm behind the camera, so I mean.
That's where you belong.
But but
okay.
the what we kind of discussed about like movies were that were upcoming movies in 2020 that we're most anticipating and excited for.
Okay.
I don't know. So what did I know you said you were excited for
Tenant, yes.
Tenet.
Because I love me some Nolan. And you know what? I watched, I don't know if you guys watched that show, Ballers on HBO. Probably
No,
The
not.
one with
not.
The Rock.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
no. I don't have
he's
HBO, so.
Dwayne Johnson now.
yeah, Dwayne Johnson, whatever, The Rock. What's his name? I can't remember his first name, but I know he's Denzel Washington's like son.
Oh, John David
Denzel
Washington.
Jr.
No. What's his
I
name?
think it's John David Washington.
Yeah, John David Washington. He's in that
Black
show.
Klansman,
Oh, yeah.
And he's really good in that show. So when I seen that he was gonna be in this movie, I was like, oh wow, it's gonna be. I feel like he's gonna do a real good job.
Yeah, I didn't know he actually acted until I saw the movie Black Klansman.
Yeah.
That's the one, right?
Oh yeah.
He's pretty good in that one, and I heard too that he's actually pretty good in Ballers.
Yeah.
But I haven't. I don't have HBO, but you know.
You're not using my HBO account.
Yeah. I mean, well, I technically, I
Yeah.
have my ways. Just
Yes.
saying, So
I know.
to
Are
get.
you, are
stuff.
you saying that you partake in
Adrian.
illegal practices?
So
torrents? No.
what?
LimeWire? No.
Yeah, LimeWire.
You
all
already
these-
got like 50 viruses on your
all these-
on your computer
all these
now.
virus-
LimeWire is actually the worst. Like growing up.
It
'Cause
was.
It was like
it was, but
Yeah, it's
but it was like the
But when
only
you're
way.
desperate, you're desperate.
Yeah, like is this an MP3 or is like is this
Or
a
is,
dot
is this a
MP3?
virus?
Or is it .exe, executable, and then once it downloaded automatically.
Yeah.
But what were you gonna say?
Destroyed menu.
I don't know. I wasn't gonna say anything.
No, I was gonna say.
He was
So
gonna say
so
something.
no,
You
so
said you were
Tenet.
excited.
No, I'm excited to see Tenet.
Tenet, what
Also, New Mutants is
New
supposed to come
Mutants,
out.
Marvel, that had been pushed back for like almost 2 years.
You know,
and
is all the negative press that was around it. I'm still because of the horror element.
You know, and that was what was so interesting about it. But you know what was funny is that when that first trailer dropped, I was like, this is actually looks kind of cool and different.
Yeah.
You know, and then it just disappeared. And so, you know, I guess they just were doing little reshoots and kinks
Well,
on it,
because
but-
I mean, from what I heard was the feedback, all the feedback they were getting on it was
well, yeah,
wasn't that great.
the director and all of that, the issues they had with that, but I you know, I'm interested to see it. I'm not expecting much because of what I've read and heard,
right.
and I think that, you know, hopefully they with the reshoots that Disney had put into it and all those things, you know, hopefully it turns out to be a good film.
I think it will be, just because I don't think Disney's gonna. I mean, they could have just scrapped it and been like, "Oh, we're done with this." Cause
But I think for
So
them,
it was Fox that was doing
yeah,
it. Right?
Yeah,
Fox had
right.
already. I think the thing is with Disney though, I think because Fox had already put up all the money into producing it. Disney
Right.
only really had to probably put up for reshoots, so they probably didn't have to put that much into it, or at least as much as Fox had done. But I don't know. We'll see. I think.
but that's another.
I know
one
the
that-
new trailer had dropped like this last week or 2 weeks ago. I
2
don't
weeks ago.
remember, but
Looked good.
I had not watched it yet, so I don't
I
know what it
actually-
looks like.
I'm like one of those people who doesn't really watch trailers that much.
Oh.
Like I kind of like going blind, like in the movies, going like not.
No,
really knowing
yeah,
too
yeah.
much.
Certain.
Unless it's like a sequel, then I'm like okay,
Okay.
whatever. But like for new movies, I'm like kind of like stay away, you know, like 'cause
There
I like
are-
to be surprised.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I get
there are
that.
certain films that I like to watch trailers for because I really want to get a feel for what they're doing. You know, and actually that kind of is one of my most anticipated films, which was Ghostbusters
Okay.
for this
right.
year. You know, huge Ghostbuster fan. One of my favorites growing up. But
He just bought that thing like right before he got here.
I had to make sure everybody
Smells pretty
knew
fresh, too,
Yeah.
you know, that new.
that.
The box is right over there. He just ripped
Yeah,
it
it's
out
off
right
camera.
now.
Sorry, with your stupid baseball bat still in the box.
Still in the box, but you can see the dust on here. I've had it for a while.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, no,
But
even-
with
like-
that film, I saw the trailer because I really wanted to see what Jason Reitman was going to do with this film, son of Ivan Reitman, who directed the original two. Because again, you know, with all the
controversy.
weird backlash, controversy, whatever you want to call it, with the
So
2016
quick question:
Ghostbusters.
did you guys like the girl reboot or whatever you want to call it, or the all-female?
I did not like it.
You know what's funny is I will say this.
Tell
It
me what's
was-
funny, Adrian.
For a random, like if it were just a random sci-fi film, I think it would have been okay. But as a Ghostbusters film, it does not work. Because it had funny moments, and you know it was slightly entertaining. But again, as a Ghostbusters film, they didn't quite get the comedy right. They didn't get the horror or the or even the, you know, what was great about the original Ghostbusters was this whole world building, like with the Evo Shandor and how like the whole, how they dive a little bit deeper into the occult, and there wasn't really a villain. It was just like the supernatural.
Yeah.
Here it was like some guy named I forget his name trying to bring about all this stuff. Everything that was like with the original Ghostbusters, it was all about like the supernatural, and it's kind of bleeding into the current world.
Right.
You know, and that's where, again, I think that's where it messed up with this the 2016 version. That's where they kind of screwed up with. But anyway, you were saying.
I didn't hate it, but I didn't. It was like okay, like it wasn't like something that I wouldn't like. Like if it was on TV, like I'd be like, oh, I'll turn it on, you know, yeah, like oh, you know,
I wouldn't even, if it was on TV, I would change the channel to like the Home Shopping Network or something.
Honestly,
I just wasn't a fan of it.
Honestly, like I think Hemsworth was pretty funny in the movie.
He was the funniest part of that movie.
But that's the thing. I feel like that's probably like it's only like saving grace. Like it like
Hemsworth was yeah, he was funny. He's actually a really funny guy. Like when you see him in comedies and stuff, he's got great comedic timing. And I think when Taika Waititi took over Thor, he brought that out a little bit more, and you know, it works. You know,
he's pretty funny in Endgame too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's smart. He's got good comedic timing. Yeah, but so when I saw the trailer for the new one, it was different, and what I liked about it was it wasn't about like all the special effects and like all the, you know, the slapstick comedy.
Right.
It was let's kind of build a story. You know, the way the pacing
It seemed really grounded.
Yeah. And then it just like gave you little like sprinkles of Ghostbuster stuff in there. And you know what's cool?
You'll get used to it. He never shuts up and he interrupts. So just,
okay, go ahead, talk about it. Whatever you say.
I'm gonna be the devil's advocate. I wasn't too impressed with the new trailer
for Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I don't know, like
I think
says the man who doesn't watch trailers.
Says the man who doesn't watch trailers.
I said when it comes to sequels and reboots and whatever reshoots, I usually watch the trailers.
Okay. You did say that.
Okay.
But
why are you even here?
I don't know. I just felt like it was way too serious, like way too dark and serious, and I'm like.
But I mean,
I feel like.
I think what they were doing was, look, we just want to set something up we're not showing you too much, and you know what, we're not going to show you like, oh, we have all the original cast and we have all this. They wanted to kind of let it be its own thing. You're going to see something a little bit more story-wise and all that in the next one, in the next trailer, which we'll probably get within like.
You heard it first. Adrian has the inside scoop. So
yeah. I do. I mean, again, you're kind of whatever. That's your opinion.
Wow.
Whatever.
I'm gonna step off camera and let them fight.
By the way, if you don't know, me and Adrian are. I'm looking at the monitor.
They are brothers.
Yeah, we're brothers, so we tend to fight a lot.
Yeah. I'm here just for the.
We have a lot of creative differences, so you know.
Yes, we do. And
the
you're
difference
usually wrong.
Yeah, well, the difference is that Danny is creative and Adrian not.
He's just different.
Yeah,
so
he's just different.
Differences.
Anyways, but here's the thing: we were just talking about trailers and stuff, and with the Tenet trailer, I don't know what the heck that movie's about, but I want to watch it. It looks insane.
Okay, so
Inception comes to my mind.
Good thing to talk about here. Daniel wanted to talk about the whole. It came out in I think the Hollywood Reporter report that talked about the price tag behind Tenet, which was going to be over $200 million. Knowing that, do you think that is a bit of a risk, jumping into spending $200 million on an original idea, original story?
No, because first of all,
and you're over here like, I have no clue what it's about.
I don't, but I want to watch it, and that's why I don't think it's a risk, because I know who directed this movie, and Nolan can have my money, because he has. I mean, for whatever
Nolan we trust.
Yes, and Nolan we trust, because for whatever, I feel like he hasn't let me down with the movie. It is. Maybe it's not.
What's your least favorite Nolan film?
My least.
If you had to rank them.
If I had to rank them, my least favorite. Oh man, that's a tough one. Maybe. I want to say like maybe The Dark Knight Rises, but
that would be my least favorite too.
That's probably. That might be right there.
It's still.
It's funny though, is that I don't think, because I know a lot of people are like, oh, that was pretty weak, right? Some people anyway.
I didn't think it was weak.
I didn't think it was weak. I still thought it was a pretty solid film. I just think he just didn't. he just did it because everybody was wanting to do it.
Yeah, it's weird. Like you could tell he was phoning it in, and it's weird. Like because when you put he's
even when he's phoning it in, he's still producing.
Yeah, even when he's phoning it in,
well, that's what I'm saying. But he's such like one of those like top tier directors where it's like, if anyone else would have directed it, we probably would have been like that. Like we're judging off his other movies.
Yeah.
I know. I think that's what a lot of people do. They judge based off his other movies and compare it, and they say like, yeah, that's not a really good movie. When in reality, it is a solid movie. But I still think he did phone it in. You know. So.
I don't feel that way. I understand what you're saying.
Guys,
but
what do you think? Did Nolan phone it in Dark Knight Rises?
Okay, I think he did, and I want you guys to look at the last fighting scene and how horrible and choreographed it is. And when people are fighting in the background, it looks silly. It looks stupid. I want you guys to go.
Yeah.
I want you.
Okay.
So when
Okay,
they
but
have
yeah,
the
but
whole
when you
crowd
watch
fighting,
that first fight scene between,
I'm
There's
gonna
guys like-
leave now. I'm gonna leave now.
Hey, but when
There's
you
guys
watch
doing
that
like
fight
this,
scene,
and
that
they're,
first
like, not
fight
even
scene
connecting, you know?
between Batman and Bane on that little like that
that
catwalk.
is that.
That's one of the
fight-
best fight scenes ever because when you think about it, there's
That-
no music going on. It's just two guys fighting,
It's just fist and thudding and
it was shot in IMAX too. So
and it was
Oh,
shot
yeah,
in IMAX,
yes.
and you know
It's-
that one. That's a great fight scene. I think that's better than
No need
pretty
to
much any fight
stand
scene
on
Marvel's ever put out.
formality here.
Anyway,
Mr. Wayne.
what's your favorite Nolan film?
Favorite Nolan film? Man. I mean, everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, The Dark Knight," but I actually
I don't think that's.
I actually like.
I think Batman Begins is
I
actually
think Batman's better.
low-key better.
But yeah,
than,
Batman Begins is a better movie. I feel like than The Dark Knight.
Dark
but,
Knight is like kind of like the safe pick, but
right. But if I'm gonna pick like my favorite Nolan film that beside out of the not the Batman's because I could watch Batman
okay,
Begins
we'll
all the time.
take Batman out of it. What's
Batman's
your favorite
out.
Nolan film?
I'm watching Inception. Like I've already watched it
Inception?
like 3 times in the past.
Daniel,
like,
what's
I want
yours?
to say 2
Um,
months.
I was a big fan of Prestige. I'm still am, but I mean,
Great movie.
until Dunkirk came out. I mean, I
Dunkirk's
really
another great movie.
Dunkirk is fantastic.
just like
film.
like visually and like storytelling wise, like how like just how he intertwines the stories together. Like you know, he's following like three
main
and-
characters.
and it's weird. It like it doesn't have a lot of action, but for some reason, like it just has you like on the edge of your seat, especially with the soundtrack.
It's like suspenseful.
Yeah, like Hans Zimmer, the soundtrack, it just and just like visually, like especially the part where like the guy's like he's having his head when the bombs are dropping, and he's having his head in the sand,
boom, boom,
and then like that one part where it's just like going
goes
off, and the guy just gets blown off, and it's just off the screen, and it's just like I don't know, it's just everything about that movie that I seen it not that long ago, and I was just like. Yeah, this
what's great about Dunkirk is the storytelling is the way it's told. It's like it's a moment in time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not necessarily like we need to follow this guy and this guy and this guy, and then they're gonna meet. You know, it's just a moment in time where you know people came together to you know overcome something, and that's what was great about that one. My favorite Nolan film, not named Batman. You know what? It's sad. Not sad because it's a great film. But you know what? I still gotta stick with it. Is Memento? It's still my favorite Nolan film.
Awesome movie.
It has you know because you look at all of his films from Batman and you know beyond, they all have like some sort of spectacle with it. Some big set piece. That one is just straight up like the way he crafts that film. Puts the story together. Tells it two stories that are going backwards and forwards, and they somehow meet in the middle there, and then they kind of take it to the end, and and it's like the way it plays out. It's just he's the ultimate storyteller as far as like when we come to the best film directors working today. I would have to say Nolan is probably up there as like the top 1 or 2 directors. I can't because and again that's back to our point. It's like is $200 million a risk?
Nope.
I would say no, only because he's a director.
He has a track record.
He has a track record, but you look at it like he's a director that if his name is attached to a product or you know a production, you're gonna go see it.
Right.
Yeah, people are gonna go see it.
And it's like I don't even like you don't even know what it's about.
It's pretty much
But I'm
what I
gonna go
said.
see it.
I have no idea what it's about. It looks cool. I'm gonna go see it because if this was anyone
Did you
else,
see the? Did you happen to see the prologue that played right before
I
Rise
did
of
not.
Skywalker?
We talked about this the other day, and you keep rubbing it in my face.
Oh,
What is it?
The prologue that played before.
yeah, it played in IMAX. Rise of Skywalker. They played
really?
the 5-minute prologue.
Really?
Yeah,
know.
I didn't
You
get
didn't
to
know
see
that?
it. I didn't know about it.
To be
I
honest,
made sure. I
didn't
made
know-
sure to go, and I watched it twice.
Well, thanks for telling
Good.
us.
It looks good. And one thing though, my wife did say was, it did feel a bit like one of his other films, and I think partly because of the way it's shot. And again, Nolan has a specific visual style.
Wait, are you allowed to say what movie it felt like? Or is that like a spoiler?
No, I don't think it'll be spoiled. Just
Sarah said it felt very much so like the. You know what it reminded me of? If I were
Can we
to
finish what Sarah said? What did Sarah say?
I know.
it felt like one of his other films. That's
But
what
like
she said.
which
she didn't
one?
say specific one, or-
she didn't say a specific
She
one.
said it felt like one of the Batman films.
Okay.
And when I think about it, the closest thing it does kind of remind me of that prologue scene is the
The Dark Knight.
the Dark Knight when they Dark Knight Rises when
Okay.
Bane and them kind of raid in the
Oh,
Wall Street
okay.
the stock market area
Okay.
where they kind of invade that area, kind of close it off and do all that. That's what it feels like, because that's basically what this scene was I keep knocking over Nacho. That's basically what the scene was these guys kind of going into this place, like this like symphony hall.
Okay.
And they kind of put it on lockdown, and then they're trying to like capture this guy.
Okay.
And then if you saw in the trailer the way certain things kind of play backwards,
Yeah.
they had that happen a couple of times, which was kind of interesting. But I think again, visual style is why, and then the music. It kind of like the way it kind of his music has a pace to it, and it kind of builds.
Right.
Well,
like
Hans
kind of
Zimmer
that.
is usually his composer. So
Yeah.
he's pretty. Yeah, he's pretty good.
Nacho is up again.
Oh.
He's down again.
I honestly didn't even know Nolan was coming out with a new movie until I saw Rise of Skywalker. I was sitting in the previews, and it just showed like, I was like, oh, okay.
I
cool.
think I seen the poster, or I seen like a picture. It just said Tenet, and I seen Nolan's name on there. And I was like, I'm excited for that. I don't even know
You're
what
down.
it is. I'm down.
You're down.
So Nolan's got my money, and I will contribute to paying off that 200.
How did because Dunkirk was the last movie, right?
Yeah.
How did that one do? I mean, I know, pretty sure it did good.
I believe
but,
that
like,
one made somewhere around like 600 or 700 million
Yeah. See.
on a budget of like 150. I want to say. I'm not sure. I can't remember exactly.
We're gonna make
the
our money
total.
back, Nolan. Don't you worry.
I don't remember
I
off
got
the
your
top
back.
of my head the exact numbers, but he did. It made money, and it did really well.
Yeah.
And
Nolan.
again,
All of Nolan's films.
And
make
that's
money.
a war pick. It's like war epics like that don't tend to make that much money what it did.
Yeah.
So, and again, I think it's partly because Nolan has his fanboys that are going to go see it, like you. But
Adrian,
my phone is ringing.
you're in trouble. Adrian's in trouble.
But yeah, so I think. I
Okay,
think he's
so we all kind of agree that the $200 million budget or price on that is he's gonna make his money back, or the studio's
I think
gonna
it's
make their money.
it's pretty much certain.
Right.
But as far as like overall, we'll see. Because we're living in a day and age where everyone's just streaming and stuff.
Yeah,
And
but
go ahead.
no, go ahead.
No, because Wall's gonna go into the next topic, but go ahead.
Okay, no, I was just saying, right? People are into streaming, but when you get you get a name like Nolan or a brand like Star Wars, certain things are gonna get people into the theater, and I still think, and his movies prove it, and the money they bring in proves it, that Nolan's still a name that is gonna bring people out of their house into the theater.
Going to my next topic. So the producer of the new upcoming James Bond movie, I forget her name. Oh, Barbara Broccoli. Speaking to Variety, they asked her about, like, as far as moving into the people's houses and stuff, like streaming and all that stuff. So she said, in quote, we make these films for the audiences. We like to think that they're going to be seen primarily on the big screen, but having said that, we have to look to the future. Our fans, the ones who dictate how they want to consume their entertainment. I don't think we can rule anything out because it's the audience that will make those decisions, not us. So how do you guys feel about that? And like, would you mind seeing a James Bond TV show, or how do you guys feel about that?
Go ahead, Adrian.
I don't know.
Okay,
I think she's right.
Adrian's answer.
I mean, I don't know how I feel about it, because on one hand, she's
100%
right. And with, when you're talking about, streaming and how people consume, they're not going to the theaters as much,
I got the answer right here.
But at the end of the day, Bond is one of those iconic cinema characters.
Yeah.
I know he's based on a book and all of that, but he's still an iconic character going back all the way to like the 60s with Sean Connery that people went out to go see. And
I think Sean Connery.
Pretty much. But, again, he's still somewhat of a draw, but again, can they keep doing it the way they're doing it, and are they getting diminishing returns at the box office? And I don't know. I think that's why they're kind of a little, maybe if we push it to streaming, we can do something there.
I feel like why can't they do both? Like, why can't there be a Bond? You can do, especially with like Netflix and HBO, you can do a Bond series and still have your Bond cinematic movies. I don't see why we have to choose, and then maybe that frees up kind of more. You can be more creative and maybe take a little more risk with the streaming, as opposed to things where it's like, oh well, we're gonna put this movie out, but we want to do this, and we don't know if we can do it because it costs this much money, and we're only gonna have this much time. Whereas if they do something on streaming, they can kind of break it down over time, as far as like, okay, well, we have more time to develop this story, or they could even and it'd probably be more difficult to do, but kind of there's more than one 007 or 00, right? Like, you can have the stories.
So you're saying maybe like
intertwine
James Bond on the big screen, but then have like a 00 series, like where it's not like a 006 or a 00
exactly.
Yeah,
That's
which I think would be a decent alternative, where you still keep Bond on the big screen, but then you have like the agency, right? That's kind of the MI6, where it's like they're doing
on the street. And I mean, that's something I would watch. I
think that's, actually, now that we're saying that actually kind of intrigues me. Like, that. Sorry about that, guys. We got cut off.
Yeah, we got cut off from Adrian stealing my ideas and saying they were his.
I would never steal your ideas.
Danny, what do you think?
Yeah. So about that sounds like a pretty good idea, like a spin-off off of the James Bond, off the MI6 whole idea and stuff. But I mean, that's really all I can say about that.
Sounds like it's a consensus that I have a great idea. So just go ahead, and whoever's in charge of that, just go ahead and hit me up. I got many more good ideas. Anyways, so that was we got one last topic. Am I correct? About the issue that Mr. Adrian had with Oscar. We're going to talk about that now?
Do we have to?
I really see. Here's the thing. I would have left it alone, but I got a text message, and this text message, it was not implied in the text message, but in my mind, it was implied that you were angry for some reason with Mr. Oscar, and I wanted to know why. I waited all week long to this day to talk about this.
You did not
on this show. Why are you angry at Mr. Oscar?
We made this show just so we could.
We did actually,
just to get to this point.
Adrian, why are you mad at Mr. Oscar?
I will say this: I am not mad at Mr. Oscar or the Academy itself. It's more or less the writers and film Twitter, so to speak, where the nominations were announced,
Right.
and everybody starts having a meltdown and freaking out about there's not enough of this and not enough of that, and
Okay. Well, I mean, that happens. That
it,
happens every year. But and here's funny thing is I got in a conversation today with someone at work, and they were saying the exact same thing. Is, oh well, this person should have been nominated for this, and I was just like, well, who are they gonna replace? Like, take the 5 people that they nominated for best actor.
did that
and
the person you were talking to, did they see the movies, or are they just
no,
saying,
they didn't see all the movies. No.
so then how can they have an opinion on it,
Right.
right?
But they were just saying this person's performance, they deserved a best, actor. And I was
May
like,
I
well,
ask
who
were they talking about?
that I think it was the Uncut Gems that Adam Sandler should have got like nominated for best
Okay,
actor.
no, okay. I'm not necessarily talking about snubs. I think that person's talking about a snub.
Okay.
And Adam Sandler, from what I hear, his performance was pretty solid in that film. I haven't had a chance to see it yet. I've been wanting to go, and every time I keep trying to go, I can't.
Okay.
It doesn't work out, but
It's life.
But I'm talking more about like when it comes to the diversity issue.
Okay.
I'm talking more about
Inclusion.
like, oh, there's not enough people of color, or there's not enough women, there's not
okay.
enough this. And again, I'm all for diversity. I do think that there is a serious issue. When I was back in college, I wrote an essay on this topic, and so I did a lot of research on it, and yeah, there is an issue. There's a systemic issue with a lack of diversity.
Okay.
But my issue really is what you said earlier. It's like, who are you going to replace when you look at these things, right?
Right.
And I've seen the majority of all these films that have been nominated, and some of the ones that did not. And I look at them and I say, yeah, it was pretty solid, but I'm like, does that person really deserve to be nominated over this person?
Just because they're either female,
just because
or
they're
like a different
female, or
ethnicity.
they're black, or Hispanic or whatever. And it's like, I honestly don't think so. And so that's where I guess a bit of my frustration is that
Okay.
we're at this point now where people are mad about whatever they want to be mad about, and they are they'd rather have you it almost feels like it's tokenism in a way, right?
Okay.
Where it's like, we just need to have somebody there to represent us, right? And
Whether we
that-
deserve it.
And a good example is The Last Jedi with that one girl Rose. Where she's they just kind of throw her in there because she's Asian. Like, oh, we gotta have an Asian character, so we'll just throw her in there.
I guess, yeah, but I think even in the second one, she was just poorly written, because they created a character and they didn't give her anything to do. But again, my thing is it's just, we should be focusing on the performances and the art, not necessarily the color of their skin, or what gender they are. I don't care. And I mean, I honestly, it's a big issue. When you look at the Academy, right, it's like something around like 9,000 members, right? There's a lot, and when you look at it and you think,
There's really that many?
Yeah.
there's a lot, and if you're a writer, you can only vote for the writing categories. If you're an actor, you vote for the acting categories, and so on. So that's just how it works, right? But you look at the Academy, who the recent president, I don't know if it's changed yet, but the last couple of years it's been a black female, right? And if you look at the percentages of the people that they've been inviting, they've been younger people, women, and people that are minorities. That's the majority of who they've been inviting,
Right.
to become members of the Academy. So they're working towards changing the issues, right? So that there's a little bit more fair, a little bit more balanced. But the thing is you can't expect it to change overnight, right?
Right.
It's going to take time. You can't, yes, there is an issue, but you can't just expect it to be like, okay, now we're going to have,
No, I understand what you're saying, and I feel like, and this is not like to knock anyone specifically or anything, but I feel like in today's world, we're so used to having everything like instantly, like, oh, I could just look this up right now, or this will take, microwave society, I guess, if you want to.
Yeah.
Whereas what you're saying is true. Like they are making changes, but you're not gonna, knock the whole wall down overnight. It's gonna take time. I do agree with you. A lot of stuff you're saying is true. Well, pretty much everything you're saying is true.
And again, like I said, as a a young Hispanic man, like I would like to see.
He's Hispanic.
I thought you were.
Yes, I'm just.
According to a very angry commenter in one of our other videos,
he's Indian, right?
I am not Indian.
So
I'm sorry, guys.
He is Hispanic, as am I, as is Danny.
Yeah, I know Marquez is a very popular Indian name, but I didn't mean to
that
fool
was pretty
you.
funny. He was like, "Oh, shut up, you stupid Indian!" Like it was like so like stupid.
It was pretty funny though.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah,
actually.
But so we
always appreciate your comments.
Yes.
Thank you guys.
Yes, we do. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, that's my thing. It's like I just want people to be honored for their work, not for the other stuff. But because then it's like it kind of diminishes the award,
right?
No,
it
does work
really
need to happen?
Becomes...
Yes, but again, it's not. It's going to take time.
Yeah.
Right.
And if you look at it too, like I think in the last 6 years, like 5 of the best director winners were all Mexican men, like or Hispanic men, and
who won it last year?
Alfonso Cuarón, who won for Roma, and so again, it's like, and then I think Del Toro won it the year before that.
For Lady in Water or something like that, or not Lady. I'm thinking, Shape of Water. There you go. I'm thinking of
the Shyamalan film.
Yeah, Shyamalan. There you go.
So, anyways, we gotta kind of wrap it up.
Yeah,
those are, I mean, but
but
that's my feeling. Like again, it's not that I'm like, I hate, I hate minorities and I want. All
you
white
are a
men,
minority, so you can't hate yourself.
I am a minority. It's just I just feel like it's disappointing when we're getting angry and we're not looking at the big picture, and it's like we just need to take a second and think about it and look at the field here. Okay, does this person deserve to be nominated? Yes, they do, or no, they don't. And
it shouldn't be based off of like what color, because that's kind of like
it shouldn't be based off of anything except for the talent and the work that's put into whatever, whether it be directing.
Because if we're doing the other, then I feel like we're taking steps backwards.
Yeah, exactly, and that's just.
But anyway.
Yeah, that's just keep it fair.
We digress.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's what the show's about, digressing. Right. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching our podcast, Real Talk here.
And another thing, it's going to be available on iTunes, Spotify.
What?
So if you want to listen to it on your way to work, on your way home from work, working out, whatever. It will be.
Listen to this while I work out.
Yeah. You're gonna listen to yourself?
Yeah, you know what? Well, no, it's not, because I like to listen to see maybe I should have used this word instead of that word.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe I should have cut off.
I'm pretty sure
20 minutes
ago. I'm pretty
ago.
sure I said some silly stuff.
It's fun. I say a lot of stupid stuff all the time.
So yeah,
that's awesome.
Subscribe to all that stuff and.
Wait, so where are they subscribing? Like what?
So it will be under Real Talk. That is REEL.
Like a movie reel.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty play. What is it?
Play on words.
So yeah,
I get it.
It's gonna be on, like I just mentioned, Spotify, iTunes, and probably Google Music. But I don't know if anyone really uses Google Music.
I use it just to listen to Blindside.
Okay, there you go. So
there you go. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to comment down below and let us know what you thought of all the topics that we covered today, and also be sure to click like and subscribe and share.
Also, thanks for listening. Right? And remember,
those of you at home, thanks for listening.
Yeah. You want to close this out, Danny?
Oh, and remember, we'll catch you on the fence.
Yeah.